Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. And today we're on Samaski. It is a 1 vs 1 between the U.S. Forces, Devil's Brigade, and the OKW, Hector. And the usual Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper moving out, as well as the Eastern Pioneers, towards the town. And rear echelon troops deciding to move past the... Nope, taking the first standard territory point. And we have riflemen out first for the U.S. forces, and making a Kuba wagon for the OKW. The Kuba wagon's an interesting little vehicle.
Wagon ready.
Means bucket car. Bucket wagon, rather. And it has to stop for a couple seconds, and then it will be able to actually suppress troops. And you'll see a little icon above it when it is stopped. And Stir Pioneer is moving past just about everything here, and trying to get over to the left side as fast as possible here. And we have Volksgrenadiers moving forward, and 2 squads of riflemen out for the U.S. forces. The first squad moving over, going to run directly into this Kuba wagon. It's like the OKW knew exactly where the U.S. forces were going to go. And these riflemen are in trouble. They're in negative cover against Stern Pioneers, which do massive damage up close. So, going to lose a lot of those riflemen. A bad start for the U.S. forces. And these riflemen moving forward as well. Now, the rear echelon troops moving towards the town now. Going to take either one of these standard territory points, most likely. And now there is that suppression icon. And the Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper setting up somewhere around here. Making his decision. Stern Pioneers moving towards this standard territory point. Volksgrenadiers taking the standard territory point up here. And another squad of Volksgrenadiers going to be moving out pretty soon. He seems to be having a little trouble where he's going to put his Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper. Kuba wagon blocking this bridge. And the map is Samaski. And there is a Samaski winter where you can actually just walk over the ice of the river here. So it makes it a little difficult in the summer because you can actually just block this off with a Kuba wagon.
Steady up, fellas.
Rear echelon troop taking the victory point on the right side. And 2 squads of riflemen moving out into the town here. And still no building from the Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper. Stern Pioneers taking the victory point. Started to make some reinforced steel barricade there, but decided to take the victory point first, and then probably going to make it. Grenadiers taking the fuel point, making a little sandbag there in case anything goes down there. They can hide behind that.
Ready to execute.
And the Kuba wagon still blocking off the bridge here.
All set. Target captured. No enemy contact. I got orders, boys.
Now taking the munitions point after they took the victory point. These rifleman squad moving up, seeking cover in this house against these Volksgrenadiers. So both sides have good green cover. So it's going to be sort of a long, drawn-out fight going on there. And these riflemen discovering the Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper right in the middle of town. Going to do some good damage to it, as the truck doesn't have too much armor and it's rather easily destroyed. And so the OKW has pretty much taken everything on the left side, except for that munitions point all the way from the top. And still taking fire at the Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper from the covered building. Now 2 Volksgrenadier squads against the 1 rifleman squad inside the covered building. Stern Pioneers moving towards these riflemen. They got to get up close, but instead seeking cover right here at the edge. But not very good cover because they could shoot pretty much right beside that. Now hiding behind a tombstone there, and now hiding up in the wall, but going to have to retreat those Stern Pioneers down to 1 Stern Pioneer. May lose these Stern Pioneers as they're going to run all the way over this way. And did lose that Stern Pioneer. Pretty big loss for the OKW as they cost quite a bit. The Stern Pioneer squad's costing 320 manpower, so losing that is kind of a big blow for the OKW. Now the OKW down to 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers. The U.S. forces still have their rear echelon troops, 3 squads of riflemen and a lieutenant. Still, the Kuba wagon stays there, remains there. Don't want to take these riflemen over here and sort of flank this Kuba wagon. Just make it move out of there so he can actually get through there. Would be the best bet for him. Still the riflemen in the house over here, guarding this entrance over here. Now doing just exactly that, the riflemen moving behind the Kuba wagon while these riflemen and Lieutenant Squad wait to go over. Now breaking the suppression and allowing these troops to move in. So a pretty clever move on this map as OKW. Just set a Kuba wagon right there, preventing your enemy from getting through there. However, if you're Russians, you could probably make a Maxim and maybe just set it up right here, and it would chase that Kuba wagon away. But unfortunately, the U.S. forces can't make a machine gun right off the bat, so they're going to have to, so they did have to do that flank maneuver on that. Now the rear echelon troops taking the OKW standard territory point, moving up on that a little bit. Now Volksgrenadiers and a Kuba wagon. A little bit of lag there. Now two squads of Volksgrenadiers and that Kuba wagon fighting this M20 utility car, and that M20 utility car is definitely going to beat out this Kuba wagon. Just a superior truck there.
God damn it! Someone get us out of here!
Volksgrenadiers seeking cover, and riflemen attacking these Volksgrenadiers in negative cover. So these Volksgrenadiers are going to take some damage as they have to run past this house again, and also have to run past these rear echelon troops. M20 scout car backing up against these Volksgrenadiers, but now they're retreating. And again, the Volksgrenadiers have to run all the way across all these U.S. forces, so it's just a big blow to the OKW whenever they have to retreat, as the AI makes them run all the way through here. Volksgrenadiers with a Panzerschreck package, seeking refuge in this church. So riflemen and lieutenant with the BAR assaulting that church. So I don't think those Volksgrenadiers are going to last too long. Nope. And he goes ahead and tries to get out of there. But now retreating again, so he's going to have to run through all these troops once again. M20 scout car should be firing on these. There he goes, pops out from the gunner's hole and starts firing on these Storm Pioneers. However, they're bringing up a flak half-track, and flak half-track's a pretty good vehicle. It does a lot of damage, and will definitely take out this M20 scout car very quickly, and troops as well. However, the flak half-track is pretty slow to set up. It takes a good couple seconds for it to set up after it moves. Now the riflemen taking over the left side, starting to take over some victory points and things like that over on the left side. They have the victory point and the munitions and the standard territory point to assault on the left side. So now the OKW starting to lose out on some points. Had a big advantage right at the start, but now slowly sort of losing that. And put his mechanized regiment headquarters directly in the center of his base, and that was his first building instead of the headquarters medic building. Now indeed taking the left side and moving over to the fuel point and standard territory points on the top. Flak half-track on the bottom. Nothing really to hit over here, just sort of hitting this fighting position, but there's nobody inside of the fighting position. Riflemen firing at the Storm Pioneers inside of this building. Now switching out the Storm Pioneers for Volksgrenadiers with longer range rifles. A pretty good idea there. Flak half-track moving up, and this M20 scout car firing at these troops, but gonna have to get out of there. A lot of firepower on that, and this is gonna set up and do some big damage if he doesn't move that out of there pretty quick. Launches smoke though, preventing the flak half-track from firing on it. I'm taking some shots from these rear echelon troops, but now the gun is pointed at the rear echelon troops and definitely running away from that. 50 cal machine gun team moving up, and lieutenants just now taking the munitions point and the fuel point from the OKW. Now the commanders for both sides, we have the Luftwaffe Ground Forces Doctrine, and for the U.S. forces we have the Armor Company. Now riflemen versus Fallschirmjägers over here. Both using the cover of these sandbags directly in each other's faces, and we're down to one rifleman, one Fallschirmjäger, and the riflemen won that out. Now the U.S. forces has two 50 cal heavy machine gun bulletins for 50% more suppression, or excuse me, 5% more suppression, so a total of 10%. So their 50 cals should be pretty good if they set them up in the proper locations. Setting up this flak track right here, preventing enemy forces from moving around in this area here. Now the OKW started to take some things over here. It took the standard territory point, but decided not to go for the victory point and the munitions point. Instead, going right for the fuel point because of the great need for Axis to have fuel, because all their tanks typically cost a lot more than U.S. forces and Russians. Now Fallschirmjägers coming out of the house here, spawning them directly out of this house. And taking the fuel point. 2 riflemen firing at these Volksgrenadiers inside of this church here. And Captain moving along could hit this flak track if he can get up close to it, but it's going to be hard to do that because it's already, looks like it's already set up. There he goes. He starts moving now, and now it is no longer set up. And we have Volksgrenadiers with the Panzerschreck inside of this building here. And taking this fuel point, almost has it. Riflemen moving up and firing at the Volksgrenadiers inside of this building here. But we have 2 squads firing at 1 squad in 1 building, so this squad here should lose out sooner or later here because both sides have green cover except for this squad here. Here we go with a lieutenant squad versus Fallschirmjägers. But the lieutenant squad has a better advantage for range. Black half track moving up. Gonna start assaulting these riflemen here. They're gonna take some big hits real quick. And didn't kill anybody, but forcing the riflemen to move back. Rear echelon troops having to run from these Volksgrenadiers, but did neutralize the standard territory point before they left. Now the Volksgrenadier is going to take over the Allied standard territory point. And riflemen taking the Axis territory point. Now moving up a 57mm anti-tank gun, trying to get this flak half track. And the M20 scout car fighting these Fallschirmjägers as well as the lieutenant firing on them. So these Fallschirmjägers are in trouble here. Gonna have to retreat out of there.
Mission accomplished. What's the plan? Main gun destroyed. Back to full strength.
Captain squad chasing at this flak track, and now this Schwerer Wehrmacht Schlepper is in trouble. If they can get the bazooka shot on that, it should do some pretty big damage to it. Fallschirmjäger still running. The M20 scout car trying to chase it up to this Wehrmacht Schlepper now. Now we have riflemen versus Volksgrenadiers directly in each other's faces. Volksgrenadiers trying to move away, but they're going to go into negative cover in the road, but not quite. The riflemen have cover. Now the Volksgrenadiers have negative cover, so not very good for the Volksgrenadiers. Volksgrenadiers chasing away this M20 scout car with the Panzerschreck fire. And now Volksgrenadiers taking the right side victory point. Almost took the victory point here, but it reset to Allied control. And now going to start neutralizing this standard territory point. And Fallschirmjägers coming out of the building again to take the fuel point. Pretty easy tactic for the OKW just to bring some Fallschirmjägers right out of the building.
Americans are making a push.
Volksgrenadiers against Captain and M20 scout car, but they have a Panzerschreck, so that scout car is going to take some damage. And scout car may lose this one remaining Panzerschreck and retreating the Panzerschreck. But it's probably going to chase it at that. The Stern Pioneers may finish off this M20 scout car. But he's trying to get it out of there as best as he can. Volksgrenadiers now taking over the munitions point, and the Allies retaking their fuel point back.
Forces have 300 points.
Riflemen guarding this section here and took the standard territory point. Now that the Fallschirmjägers have taken the fuel point, now starting to move towards more territories. Moving down here to this standard territory point, but gonna get stopped by these captains, and the machine gun will notice the Fallschirmjägers, and hopefully he moves that down there. Stern Pioneers and Fallschirmjägers forcing the captain to retreat, and now gonna take the standard territory point. Still working on the munitions point, but it will be in Axis hands very shortly. Assault engineer squad in the middle.
We have a lieutenant reporting in for duty.
And a new lieutenant moving on in with a BAR standard rifle.
A capture point.
Fallschirmjägers taking the territory point here. And he set up the 50 cal machine gun over here, but there's really nothing to for it to defend against at the moment, although he doesn't know that. Just sort of a waste up here right now. M20 scout car firing on these Fallschirmjägers. And the assault engineers moving towards these Fallschirmjägers, but the Fallschirmjägers will lose this battle because riflemen and assault engineers took them out pretty fast. Rear echelon troops against Volksgrenadiers inside of the building, and these rear echelon troops will not win this battle against Volksgrenadiers inside of a building. two rifleman squads moving up against Fallschirmjägers. M20 scout car firing at you Fallschirmjägers and this flak half-track, but they're not going to be able to do anything to this flak half-track. Going to take a lot of damage from it. Did hit it with an anti-tank rifle grenade, though. And moving these rear echelon troops away from this battle here, just saying screw that, and going over here to the standard territory point. Now this flak half-track taking a lot of damage from these troop anti-tank rifle grenades. And Stern Pioneers moving up and lost his flak half-track. And rear echelon troops losing. He might get away there. Let's see what let's check his luck. And no, went into negative cover and took too much damage because of that. 57mm anti-tank gun firing at the debris there. Just sort of ground firing there. He was firing through the smoke. There was smoke there, so he couldn't see it. So instead, he chose to ground fire through that and take out that flak cannon. Assault engineers and a 50 cal machine gun moving towards this section up here. But there's a Schwerer Panzer headquarters, and they're gonna take a lot of damage from that as soon as that engages them. And here we go. Now instantly suppressing those troops. Volksgrenadiers versus riflemen in a building. Both sides with green cover. Pretty even battle here, but these Panzerschrecks taking out the building. M20 utility car moving up, but not the best idea because they're going to get hit by that Panzerschreck. But it will distract the Panzerschreck team for the riflemen to get a couple extra kills. Fallschirmjägers moving up with negative cover. And the Volksgrenadiers taking the whole bottom right side here. Now probably moving towards this field point again to retake that. Riflemen against Fallschirmjägers, but the Fallschirmjägers have submachine guns, which is definitely not the best thing to use. Long range. Lieutenant squad and assault engineer squad. Looks like they're making some mines here in the center. Looks like they got one down. Looks like an anti-tank mine. And Volksgrenadiers indeed taking this field point back. However, the captain is taking the standard territory point and may move over here or discover these Volksgrenadiers. Repairing up the M20. Now the captain moving to this territory point. However, riflemen with a BAR chasing away these Volksgrenadiers, making them retreat. Now the captain squad might be able to get a couple. They've got one kill from that. And looks like that's all they're going to get there. But one kill is better than nothing. Here comes Fallschirmjägers again to assault the house. But however, the M20 scout car and riflemen just going to beat out on these Fallschirmjägers. Actually, they do not have submachine guns. They have automatic rifles. However, there's simply too much firepower here for the... Now bringing up a M10 Wolverine tank destroyer. On this Panzer headquarters. And the Schwerer Panzer headquarters can destroy tanks, but it is a small round, so it takes plenty of rounds to do it. And on the front armor of tanks, it doesn't typically do much. However, this tank is going to fire on this Schwerer Panzer headquarters until it is destroyed. But the Stern Pioneer is desperately trying to repair it. Still in OKW hands, the victory point and the munitions point. Now moving the Wolverine tank destroyer out. Probably going to repair that up. Doesn't want to risk losing that, as there is Volksgrenadiers with Panzerschrecks and Obersoldaten with LMG 34s moving up. Assault engineers with flamethrowers trying to move up, but they have a superior position up there and simply can't get to them, so going to have to retreat out of there. And this Panzer headquarters will be repaired, and he'll have to start all over again when he wants to take that back. Now the captain squad taking this section back. And riflemen against Obersoldaten and Volksgrenadiers. Not going to do the trick, but might get a couple kills, might get a Veteran C Star out of it. But going to have to retreat out of their M20 scout car and the 105mm bulldozer Sherman moving forward with its barrage attacks. Going to do a lot of damage to troops if you can get a hold of them. Ooh, took out the entire squad. I don't think I've ever seen that with one shot. That was a rare thing. and almost taking out that whole squad with one shot. However, there were only 3 out of the 4 remaining. That was an incredible hit there. All 5, look, all 5 dead. Unbelievable. And now the Wolverine tank destroyer is moving up, and the bulldozer actually might move up with it to assault this Schwerer Panzer headquarters. Incoming Obersoldaten. However, the 57mm anti-tank gun and the 50 cal, just a little too much for the Obersoldaten. Gonna have to move out of there. And starting to fire on these tanks again, but I don't think the Schwerer Panzer headquarters is gonna handle it this time. These Volksgrenadiers do not have a Panzerschreck, and the OKW has surrendered, making the U.S. Forces Devil's Brigade the winner. But I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you do, go ahead and like and subscribe. There's plenty more to watch, and I will see you guys next time.